Hi, I'm Lunarcraft from Psychic Truth, and this is your AstroTarot presentation for the coming week, Aries. I thank you for joining me. You're very, very welcome. For those of you who are regular viewers, you are already familiar with the format that these sessions take. But for the new people here, just to let you know what happens, I choose a specific sign of the zodiac and consider the highlights from the planets and celestial bodies before moving on to look at how those may impact on you over the coming 7 days. And then finally, I'll be selecting 3 tarot cards and interpreting the messages for you. So, let's look at the planetary aspects to get a general feel for what's in store. Again, I will not be working through the full list of aspects, but the overview is the coming week will see 5 oppositions, all of which involve the moon, 2 sextiles, 3 squares, again 2 that involve the moon, 5 transits, 4 of which involve the moon, and 5 trine, again all involving the moon. So in total there are 20 aspects, of which 16 involve the moon, which, as I've indicated before, acts as a trigger for the interactions between the planets and their host signs and or astrological houses. The highlights for the coming week include, near the beginning of the week, we'll be seeing the full moon in Virgo, and that will most likely make us analytical and critical. We're productive and health conscious. Our focus will be on working through our lists to complete tasks and gaining the feeling of satisfaction. A couple of days later, the moon moves into Libra, helping us to feel cheerful and open-minded. It reinforces the desire for harmony in and around us. Our focus will be centered on love and partnership, including feeling romantic and desiring to spend quiet time with our significant other. Also well aspected is meeting new people. The end of the week sees the sun moving into Aries, triggering one of the most important astrological events of the year, the vernal or spring equinox, that has a number of meanings. It's the end of the astrological calendar. The pagan festival of Ostara that celebrates the start of the earth coming out of its dormant period and new life beginning, and that has become the foundation of the Christian festival of Easter. One thing to bear in mind is that I'm actually based in the Northern Hemisphere, so it'll be the autumn equinox taking place south of the equator. On the same day, the moon progresses into Scorpio, giving us intense energy, passion, sensuality, and impulsiveness. However, there may also be a tendency to become involved in arguments and potentially revenge situations. There could also be a strong sense that we want to experience something new. We can expect a favourable pairing between Mercury and Uranus, lasting only, unfortunately, for about one day. But that encourages us to be progressive, energetic, creative, and unconventional, actively seeking traditional views and practices. Our intuitive skills will be stronger, and Mercury, the planet governing communication, supports our speech and original, quick thinking. We're also likely to cope well with technology and number-based challenges. Okay, so moving on to what all that means for you, Aries. First off, we're coming to the end of the Pisces season, and we're about to break into Aries time. Aries, first sign of the zodiac, the baby of the zodiac, the most energetic probably of all the star signs. You're trailblazers, passionate and independent. Aries will never do something just because everyone else is doing it. And when you set a goal, you invariably will achieve it, no matter what gets in your way. Your mind works in hyperdrive, never mind overdrive, and you find it painful if you have to slow down for other people to catch up. You are very, very strong, adamant even. But alongside that, you are probably one of the most courageous and ambitious signs. And as I indicated before, your determination is unrivaled when it comes to getting what you want. You work hard, but you also play hard. You're the life of every party. You're easygoing and enjoy the company of all kinds of people, which makes you very much the party animal. You're impulsive, sometimes acting first and thinking later, but that can be risky. But very often you fall on your feet, and it turns out to give you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Okay, time for me now to choose 3 cards, tarot cards that is, and I will look at the messages that they are carrying for you. Okay, so there's number 1, and there's number 2, and which one? That one. 3. Right, let's have a look and see. Oh, not bad. Right, the reason I grumbled at the first card that was turned over is that it's the 5 of Pentacles. Now, often that refers to being abandoned, being left out in the cold, even being ignored. However, although those feelings are quite deep-seated in you, what I'm seeing here now is that you are working hard to avoid those situations arising. And I don't see that you will fail in that aim because of your determination, your desire to get things as you want them. Also that was the Five of Pentacles. Now we're going on to the Nine of Wands, which always shouts to me of people looking ahead, reviewing what they've achieved, looking at what's still to be done, planning the next steps. And impulsive Aries might find that a little bit daunting at times, but you can manage it. And then finally, we've got the Sun, which, is just everything Aries. It shows that you are on the right track, you are achieving your goals, and quite rightly, you are celebrating those achievements. So, all in all, not a bad week for you, Aries. Hi, I'm Lunarcraft from Psychic Truth, and this is your AstroTarot presentation for the coming week, Taurus. I thank you for joining me, and I want you to know that you are very, very welcome here. For those of you who are regular viewers, you are probably already very familiar with the format these sessions take, but for the sake of the new viewers, I would like to just outline how it works. So, I choose a specific sign of the zodiac and consider the movements of planets and celestial bodies and highlight the main ones before moving on to look at how those may impact on you and your star sign over the next 7 days. And finally, I draw out 3 tarot cards and interpret the messages they have for you and indeed your star sign. So, let's look at the planetary aspects to get a general feel for what's in store. You will be very pleased to hear that I will not be working through the full list of aspects again. Done that. Not doing it again. Not for being repeated. So, I will, however, be giving an overview of everything just to show how busy things are. So, this coming week we'll see 5 oppositions, all of which involve the moon, 2 sextiles, 3 squares, 2 of which draw in the moon, 5 transits, of which 4 involve the moon, and 5 trines, again involving the moon in each and every one of them. So, in total, there are 20 aspects, and of those, 16 involve the moon. Now, I know I keep going on about the moon, but as I've indicated before, the moon acts as a trigger for the interactions between the planets and their host signs or astrological houses. So, looking at the highlights from the coming week, near to the beginning of the week, we'll be seeing a full moon in Virgo, and the energy that's given off will probably make us pretty analytical, perhaps even critical. We're productive and conscious of our health at that time, but our main focus will be working through our to-do lists with a view to completing tasks and subsequently enjoying the feeling of achievement. Why not? You've worked hard for it. A couple of days later, the moon moves into Libra, and the energy should help us to feel cheerful and open-minded. It reinforces our desire for harmony in and around us. Now our focus will be centred on love and partnership, including feeling romantic and wanting to spend quiet, quality time with our significant other. Also well aspected will be meeting new people. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly my social skills are pretty non-existent now after 2.5 years of restrictions, not being free to go out and meet people willy-nilly. And I dare say that applies to a good number of you too. But as you get into practice of using those skills, they will flow more easily. So get yourself out there. We've got better weather to be looking forward to. So how about a barbecue or a picnic or an outing to a beauty spot? Go to the pub, arrange a party, a celebration. It really doesn't matter what it is. Just get on it and do it. And life will then really, truly be returning back to normal. At the end of the week, the sun moves into Aries, and that triggers perhaps one of the most important astrological events of the year, the vernal or spring equinox. And that has a number of significant meanings other than day and night being of equal length. For example, the equinox marks the end of the astrological calendar. So dear, laid back, calm, placid, dreamy Pisces is moved aside to make space for the incoming Aries fiery energy that's going to stomp over everything, and things will start to move more quickly, more deliberately. The equinox is also the bringer of the pagan festival of Ostara, which celebrates the fact that Earth is waking up, coming out of its dormant period. Also celebrating new life, not just fluffy little animals and the such like, but the trees unfurling their leaves, sending forth their blossom, inviting the bees to come and pollinate them so that there will be a crop later on. Ostara actually became the foundation of the Christian festival of Easter. Okay, the fundamental messages are different, but the symbolism is so, so close. Fluffy little animals, flowers, eggs, rabbits, hares. They've all been taken from that pagan root. Now, I think I should make it absolutely clear that I'm based in the Northern Hemisphere. So, for those of you who may be south of the equator, we'll be looking forward to the autumn equinox and the onset of autumn or fall, whatever you want to call it, along with the progression into winter. On the same day of the equinox, the moon moves into Scorpio, and the energy that it is given off is intense. It makes us passionate. It increases our sensuality and impulsiveness. But also, please be aware that there's also a tendency to become embroiled in arguments or indeed in a revenge situation. There could also be a very strong sense that we want to experience something new. And yes, I'm going to hark back to all the restrictions that we've been that have been imposed over the last couple of years or so. We've not been allowed to travel. We've not been free to explore. Those restrictions are being lifted. Thank goodness. So, do what you can to get going. Book a holiday abroad if that appeals. Or go and climb a mountain if that appeals. Or just go down to the beach and look for pebbles or seashells. Doesn't matter what it is. Get out, flap your wings, spread your wings. Don't regret not doing it. Also, we can look forward to a very favourable pairing between Mercury and Uranus. Unfortunately, it only lasts for roughly a day, maybe a bit more than that. But the energies given off encourage us to be progressive, energetic, creative, and unconventional. In fact, we're likely to actively reject traditional views and practices. And let's face it, if those boundaries had not been challenged in past years, we wouldn't have more than half the things that we take for granted nowadays. So, if you want to push the boat out, then do it. Think on it, develop it, create it, turn it into reality. It might be the next big thing to be invented, you don't know. Alongside that, our intuitive skills will be stronger, and Mercury, the planet that controls communication in all its forms and thoughts and learning, will be on hand to give us support for anything we want to say, also to support our original thinking. We're also likely to cope well with technology and number-based challenges. That's going to be tricky then. The reason I say that is I used to be top-notch when it came to technology and number work. But over the years, certainly technology has progressed a lot faster than my brain, my one brain cell, as my husband used to say, will allow. Fortunately, I have a daughter who is technically minded, and if ever I get stuck, she's the one I call on first. And generally she sorts things out because she likes the challenge. Okay, I'm now going to pick out 3 tarot cards. And as I said earlier, I'm going to interpret the messages, but what I'm going to try to do is tie it all together with the astrological information. So let's hope it works. Oh, wonderful. Oh, how fantastic. Right. Your first card out is the Chariot. Now that, to me, pretty well sums up you Taurians, because it's a card of determination. It shows you forging ahead, not allowing anything to get in your way, to stop you making progress. And once you set a goal, you will achieve it, no matter what obstacles get in your way. So it's a card of joy as well. So it's really an appropriate card for you. And it shows that persistence. Your middle card is the Ace of Pentacles. Now that is so appropriate for Taurus. It really is, because you are probably the best sign going to manage money. You are gifted at finding both love and money, thanks to your ruling planet Venus. So, absolutely perfect. Now, the final card is the Hierophant. And to my mind, again, it sums up Taurians, because you are trustworthy. And Taurus is seen to be the anchor of the zodiac. You will get things done. You will achieve anything that you want to. And the Hierophant is all about acknowledging partnership and traditional views, which really are quite important to you. It's also about partnership and working with others, which, again, you are very adept at doing. Okay, so that's all from me for this week. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back next week, same place, same time, and I really hope you'll be able to join me then. In the meantime, have an absolutely outstanding week. And all that's left for me to say is bye-bye. Hi, I'm Lunarcraft from Psychic Truth, and this is your Astro presentation for the coming week, Gemini. I thank you for joining me and just want to let you know that you are very welcome. For those of you who are regular attendees, viewers, you're probably already familiar with the format of these sessions. But for the new people here, just let me explain that I choose a specific sign of the zodiac and consider the highlights from the planets and celestial bodies before moving on to look at how those might impact on you over the coming 7 days. And finally, I'll be selecting 3 tarot cards and interpreting the messages they have for you and your zodiac sign. So, let's look at the planetary aspects to get a general feel for what's in store. Again, I'll not be working through the full list of aspects, but the general overview is that there are 5 oppositions, all of which involve the moon, 2 sextiles, 3 squares, 2 of which have the moon involved, 5 transits, 4 involving the moon, and 5 trine, all of which involve the moon. So in total there are 20 aspects, of which 16 involve the moon, which, as I've said before, acts as a trigger for the interactions between the planets and their host signs or houses. The highlights for this coming week include, near the beginning of the week, there'll be a full moon in Virgo, and that is likely to cause us to be analytical and critical, but we're also productive and conscious of our health. Our focus will be on working through our lists, our to-do lists, to complete tasks and, consequently, enjoying the feeling of achievement. Then, a couple of days later, the moon moves into Libra, and that should help us to feel cheerful and open-minded. It reinforces the desire for harmony in and around us. Our focus will be centered on love and partnership, including feeling romantic and desiring to spend quiet time with our significant other. Also well aspected is meeting new people. Then at the end of the week, the sun moves into Aries, and that triggers one of the most important astrological events of the year, the vernal or spring equinox, where day and night are equal, are totally balanced, but it also has a number of different meanings, such as it marks the end of the astrological calendar. Also, the pagan festival of Ostara that celebrates the start of the earth coming out of its dormant period and new life beginning, and Ostara became the foundation of the Christian festival of Easter. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that I'm based in the Northern Hemisphere, so for those of you south of the equator, you'll be looking forward to the autumn equinox and the move towards fall, autumn and winter. Then on that same day, the moon moves into Scorpio, giving us intense energy, passion, sensuality and impulsiveness. However, There could also be a tendency to become involved in arguments and potentially revenge situations. There could also be a strong sense that we want to experience something new. We can also look forward to a favourable pairing between Mercury and Uranus. Unfortunately, it's only going to last for about a day. But during that day, we will be encouraged to be progressive, to be energetic, creative and unconventional, actively rejecting traditional views and practices. In addition, our intuitive skills will be stronger, and Mercury, the planet of communication, supports our speech and original quick thinking. We're also likely to cope well with technology and number-based challenges. So, moving on to see what to expect for you, Gemini. First off, again, you've got an intelligence that is pretty well unrivaled. You're also passionate and dynamic. You're known for having two different sides that you can display to the world. Some people may say you're two-faced, but that isn't necessarily an accurate description. But you are an excellent communicator, and you can change to fit into any situation, any group that appeals to you. You pick up on the general vibes and energies within a group, a space, a room, wherever you find yourself. You're also very energetic and quick-witted. You never, ever get stuck in the past. That's done, dusted. You can't make any differences. Therefore, move forwards. Your mind never stops. And as a result, you tend not to get bored easily. What is often missed by people around you is your depth of emotional care. You cover it up well, it has to be said, but it all adds to the richness of who you are. And just picking up on the intelligence aspect, what was it I read the other day? That was it. Gemini is equipped with almost uncanny emotional intelligence, which means you can read a room and know exactly what other people want to hear from you. It's a rare skill. And you are a star sign that can switch and change between groups and not lose sight of who you are. So, well done. again, you are very, very intelligent, and you tend to get an all-round accurate picture of a situation, of a group. That happens without you even thinking about it. Now, your ruling planet is Mercury, and that enables you to voice exactly what you need at any time. You have a persuasive ability that will lead people to your way of thinking. You're not forcing them, you're just pointing out that if they agreed with you, such and such would happen. And you've got boundless energy. You are the person who will keep a party going, and you're perfectly capable of multitasking, keeping several things on the go all at the same time. Others may be a little bit wary of you because you have depths within you that are not easily read. Okay, let me choose 3 tarot cards now and see what messages they have for you. Okay, there's number 1, number 2, and number 3. They came out easy. What have we got? Oh, have we indeed? Okay, first card out is the 4 of Wands, and that is very much about celebration, celebrating achievements. It could also indicate celebrating a marriage. So, keep your ears peeled. Listen out for information about a happy event, because there's going to be a party and you are the ultimate party animal. Now, it takes a lot to bring you down mood-wise, but you have been struggling just lately. It is going to get very much better as the weather improves, as the sun returns. You will start to feel re-energized, able to take on the world and conquer it. And then finally, one that is probably the most frustrating card of all for you, Gemini. It's the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is the guardian of the tarot deck. He is all about slowing things down, and that's what you will find frustrating, irritating to the nth degree, because foundations need to be laid so that you can continue to build your own personal growth. So hold fire, keep yourself in check, and let things take their course. Some things you can't hurry. And that's very much the message being given to you now. So that's it for me for this week. Thank you so much for joining me for this AstroTarot delivery. I'll be back same time, same place next week, and I truly hope you will be able to join me. In the meantime, have a wonderful week, and all that's left for me to say is bye-bye. Hi, I'm Lunarcraft from Psychic Truth, and this is your AstroTarot presentation for the coming week, Cancer. And before I get into anything, I want to say thank you for joining me, and I want you to know that you are very welcome. For those of you who are regular viewers, you're probably pretty au fait with the format, although I do keep chopping it around a bit, and today is not any exception to that. But for the benefit of anyone new, I just want to outline the way that I see this session going. So first off, I choose a specific sign of the zodiac and consider the highlights from the movement of the planets and celestial bodies, before moving on to look at how those may impact on you over the coming 7 days. And then finally, I draw out 3 tarot cards and interpret the messages they have for you and your zodiac sign. So, let's get to it. Let's look at the planetary aspects to start with, just to get a general feel for what's in store. You will be relieved to hear that I'm not going to work through the full list of aspects. Been there, done that, not doing it again. Okay. But just so you're aware of what is facing us, we have 5 oppositions, all of which involve the moon, 2 sextiles, 3 squares, 2 that involve the moon, 5 transits, including 4 with the moon, and 5 trine, and they all involve the moon. So in total, there are 20 aspects, of which 16 are involving the moon. Now, as I've mentioned before, the moon is very often the trigger for the interactions that take place between the planets and their host signs or astrological houses. So the highlights for the coming week include, at almost the beginning of the week, we'll be seeing the full moon in Virgo, and that's very likely to make us hyper analytical and even critical. But at this time we are productive and keep an eye on our health. Our main focus will be on working through our to-do lists in order to complete tasks and subsequently enjoy the feeling of achievement. Hey, why not? We've had little to celebrate just recently. Then a couple of days later, the moon moves into Libra, which helps us to feel cheerful and open-minded. It underscores the desire for harmony in and around us. Our focus will be centered on love and partnership at this time, including feeling romantic and wanting to spend quiet, quality time with our significant other. Also well aspected is the opportunity to meet new people. And I, for one, know that I've lost a lot of my social skills because I've not been out, I've not been mixing with people, only family, and well, you don't socialise with family so much, but get out there. The better weather's coming. Organise a barbecue. Go for a picnic. Arrange an outing to the pub or a restaurant. Organise some parties to celebrate special events. Whatever it is, get out there. Get meeting people. Get talking to people. And the more you do it, the easier it will become. Then, moving on to the end of the week, the sun moves into Aries, triggering one of the most important astrological events of the year, the vernal or spring equinox, when day and night are equal lengths. But there's also a number of significant meanings around this time. For a start, it's the end of the astrological calendar. Out goes dreamy Pisces and in storms Aries. Life is going to start picking up. Also, the equinox marks the pagan festival of Ostara, which is a celebration of the earth coming out of its dormant period. Also of new life beginning. Not just, the birth of baby animals, but also the leaves coming out on the trees, the blossom sprouting, blooming, that's a better word, and the bees getting to work on that blossom. Also, Ostara became the foundation of the Christian festival of Easter. Now, I appreciate that the fundamental messages are different, but the symbolism is very, very similar. Eggs, chicks, flowers, and everything to do with the Easter season. However, before I forget, something I need to point out is that I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, so we are looking at the spring equinox. However, for those of you south of the equator, you will be looking forward to the autumn equinox and the start of autumn, fall, whatever you want to call it, and then progressing into winter. On the same day as the equinox, the moon moves into Scorpio, giving us intense energy and passion, sensuality, and, dare I say it, impulsiveness. However, do be aware that there could be a tendency to become involved in arguments and even revenge situations. Alongside of that, there's a very strong sense of wanting to experience something new. And heck, after the last 2.5 years, of course we want to spread our wings. We've not been able to travel, we've not been able to explore. So again, if you can, don't hold yourself back. Get out there, start experiencing new things. Also, something to look forward to is an extremely favourable pairing between Mercury and Uranus. However, it will only last for around 1 day. But the energies will encourage us to be progressive, energetic, creative, and somewhat unconventional. In fact, actively rejecting traditional views and practices. But hey, if people hadn't pushed those boundaries, we wouldn't have any of the stuff that we rely on in everyday life. So don't hold yourself back. Follow your thoughts, follow your dreams. Also, our intuitive skills will be much stronger, and Mercury will support our speech and original quick thinking. We're also likely to cope well with technology and number-based challenges. That's me pretty well stuffed then. No, I used to be able to cope with things like that, but nowadays, especially now technology has progressed, it's left me behind, well and truly. But what does it all mean for us Cancerians? We're probably the most emotional, perhaps intuitive, perhaps psychic of all the signs. Close second brought by Pisces. And we're characterized, portrayed as a crab. But people who take the time to get to know us realize that our thoughts, emotions, feelings go very deep. Cancerians love creating and need some type of creative outlet, whether it's painting, writing, or even just reading. For me, it's knitting and, crochet. I'm not very good at that. But Cancerians also love connecting to a higher power and may find quite a bit of comfort in religion or spiritual practices. Cancerians are also able to cut through all the BS and associated noise to get to the heart of an issue, and once reached that point, coming up with ways to deal with them, to move things forward. We're able to read a room almost without anyone saying anything. We can detect whether a mood is good or, dare I say, bad. The ruler of Cancer is the moon, and that causes Cancerians to be very aligned with the Earth's rhythm, the phases of the moon. It leads us to be very comfortable when we're close to nature, and it's almost intuitive that we tune into those natural rhythms. And in fact, those rhythms of nature can help us to cope with any problems that we may face. Cancer is also one of the most loyal signs, and once a Cancerian has accepted someone as a friend, whatever happens, the friend will always be welcome to ask for help, support, whatever's needed. Okay, that's it on the astrological side. Now I'm going to shuffle my cards, which are getting sticky. Come on, stop flowing. That's better. And split the deck, and 3 cards coming up. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, let's turn them over and see what we've got. Interesting. Remember what I said about Aries storming in? Your first card up for this week is the 8 of Wands, which is all about things taking off and moving swiftly. So again, it's a card that reflects the astrology that's around us. And things will speed up, not just because it's Aries season coming up, but because everything points to that happening astrologically. We haven't seen anything yet, and it's been pretty busy so far. In the middle, you've got the Magician. Now, he is such an energetic guy. He's all about keeping things balanced, but also reminding us that we've got everything we need within us, the skills, the knowledge, the tools even, to be able to manifest the life that we desire. It doesn't come with nothing attached. You have to put some work into it, quite a lot of work and a lot of belief. But Cancer, you can deal with it. And the final card is the 9 of Swords, the Nightmare card. Now, I have to say that Cancerians tend to be pretty laid back, not natural worriers unless there's something big looming. But worrying is like sitting in a wheelchair, a rocking chair even. Yeah, rock backwards and forwards. It's quite a pleasant feeling. But hey, you're not getting anywhere. And worry is exactly the same thing. You use your energy. You tire yourself out with worry. So wherever possible, go inside. Seek the answers from within. Okay, that's all from me this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back next week, same place, same time, and I really hope you'll be able to join me. But in the meantime, I hope you have an absolutely phenomenal week. All that's left for me to say is bye-bye.